This is the last one. I promise. No more parts of rebuilding the Turbo 400. You're probably sick of it. I'm sick of rebuilding it. We're gonna finish it today. At least that's the plan. Of course, I said that on part 4 too, so. Where's my dogs? Hey, Elvis. Yeah. Hey, buddy. Ready for one last try at rebuilding this transmission, buddy? Want to shake? Yeah, that's a good dog. Now, if you haven't been following along for the rest of the shows, this is the final assembly of our Turbo 400 transmission. It is out of a AMC Jeep. It's the same standard Turbo 400 as everything else. It's just got a different bell housing. Other than that, all the guts are inside the same. Even the torque converter is like just a Turbo 400 piece, so nothing complicated there. Hey, where do you think you're going? Get back here! Dogs listen really good. We're finally actually moving on to the case saver. Now, show you one more time.
So right there is it already installed. Now, there's nothing much more to it than that. That's just what it looks like. But essentially what it does is it adds an extra lug in this big gap of lugs, and that apparently makes it way stronger and prevents you from breaking stuff. So we're going to carry on with that idea.
Now, I looked up the instructions, and they're not overly complicated. Matter of fact, when the first line says, using a hacksaw. Now, that's something I can get behind. Also, not something I ever expected to see in the same sentence as automatic transmission rebuild. But whatever, that's what the instruction says, and I can do that. That's within my skill range.
Now, this part is what we need to use a hacksaw on. This section right here does not have a cutout for that extra lug that we're putting in. So we're gonna lay it in here. Yeah. We're gonna mark where this lug goes so we don't mess it up.
Now, on the note of not messing it up, if by chance you're following along play by play and doing it yourself, just stop for a minute.
So we know it goes approximately there to there. Give ourselves a little bit of a wide berth, as it were. And we can see, I don't know if you can see it, but there's actually a little notch right there as well. Now we got that marked. We'll pull it back out, and we'll show you what we're going to do next.
Now what we're going to do is take this intermediate clutch, which has tangs all the way around. Going to lay it over top as accurately as we can. Vice grip it on there. We'll just take a little scribe and we'll know exactly where to cut. At least that's the plan. Alright, there we go. Now we're nicely held on there. This is really quite bang on where it needs to be. And we'll just scribe that out. There we go. Now all we have to do is make a bunch of cuts across here, break all the pieces out, file it smooth, and we'll have a notch there. Not only do I have an electric hacksaw, we have a vise to work with. So we're just gonna, I've already cut a couple of them off camera because I forgot to turn the camera on. We got one more to cut, and it's just like this, you know, you take it and you gently start it and that's it. That, folks, is exactly what it looks like in the picture. If you've made it look like the picture does, that must be good, right? Now the instructions say just break all the chunks out and fit it with a file. Now, that's what it looks like all said and done. We're reasonably happy with it. It's kind of straight like. And then when we pop it in there, there we go. It fits really nice, you know, all things considered. Now, if I'm honest, I made it a little big here, and I could have done a nicer job. But the good news is that's backwards.
because this actually goes in here like this. See? And when you put it in here the proper way, this is in the wrong spot. What I'm trying to say is, I did it wrong, so we have to do it again. But I get a second shot at it, which is good, I guess. We'll be better at it this time, I hope. Those of you who are following along play-by-play may now resume. There. Now it's in there a little bit better. Now it actually fits really well this time, so we're happy with that. It probably didn't need to be quite as deep as I made it, but that won't hurt nothing. So, yeah. Now it's installed properly. So if you need to make a practice one, just do what I did. Do it in the wrong place. And then do the right one after. That's why I did that. Actually, it was intentional just so I'd have a practice. Yeah, that's what we'll go with, right, Elvis? Right, buddy? That's what we'll say. It was on purpose. Hey, what do you think of that idea? You don't care very much, do you? You want a high five? Good boy, yeah. Now that we have the intermediate backing plate, I think that's what we just modified. Now that we've got it modified for the case saver, it's time to put some intermediate clutches in. And they're in there somewhere. They've been soaking for a week now, because I meant to do this a week ago. I think they're right there. Of note, which might matter for you if you're actually rebuilding one of these, there's a lot of opinions about these steel plates, and waved ones, and flat ones, and like a lot of choices as well. For the record, the ones that came out was 2 flat ones and 1 wavy one. My book says it's very popular and common to use just 3 thicker, solid ones, because that's shorter shifts. My shift kit says use a wavy one. I don't know. Like, choose who you want to listen. You want to listen to the book? You want to listen to the shift kit? I'm gonna listen to JH. He sent me 3 thick ones. That's good enough for me. The instructions on this are make sure they're clean. Put a steel one in, put a friction in, put a steel one in, put a friction in. It's like that. There is one spot that doesn't have a tang or tooth or whatever they're called. Put that towards the open hole, because there's a spot in there that doesn't have a tooth also. My instructions actually are very unclear on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. Steel. Get some of the drippies off. And a nice shiny new friction. Borg Warner, baby. A steel. Now we do another friction. We do a steel. See, this isn't very complicated. Now we do another friction. Then we do the intermediate plate retaining plate. Or whatever. Okay, that's all in there. Now, another upgrade that is both popular and we're doing is this heavy duty snap ring. This is the factory one that I pulled out. They're the same thickness, but this one's, well, it's heavier. You know, it's a little different looking and it's heavier. So in he goes. Now on the case saver instructions, it does mention to put this at 12 o'clock. That I don't know why, but we'll put it at 12 o'clock. And we're assuming that the bottom is the bottom and the up is 12. To be clear, that is the opposite. Well, it's not the opposite. It's different than what my book says. But since we're adding a thing that my book doesn't talk about, I'm going to follow the instructions on the thing. I predict that at the power levels that the mighty AMC small block is going to put out, wouldn't matter anyways. Well, that's a tight squeeze, I'll tell you what. Be gradual, you know? Be cool if you guys could see this, huh? Rather than just looking at me. Can you see now? Hey, sort of. As far as I know, you just sort of work this in there. And you don't get too greedy. And it all goes in nice. Now, these still have some wiggle? Yeah, they got a little wiggle. There's got to be some wiggle there. Otherwise, they would be applied all the time. Now, we're kind of jumping back and forth between instructions in our book and instructions with the case saver. But common between the two of them, maybe it's not common, I don't remember. One of them says to check your clutch packs now. And you're supposed to put air into this center port. I don't know what's supposed to happen when you do that. Oh, well, the clutches move. Is it supposed to be perfect seal? No, there's no seals there. I don't exactly understand, but I'll show you. So I'm putting air down here where the retaining bolt goes. You know, the one that I forgot to show you that I put back in? The 3/8 12.1. I think that's all you're supposed to check. Morning, Luna. It's okay. Alrighty. Now, with the intermediate clutch pack, I think working and tested and installed, we're now shifting gears. As a transmission joke. Oh hi. And moving on to these. These are direct drums. An intermediate clutch. I think so. Yep, intermediate clutch. Or one way, or sprag, or roller, or whatever you want to call it. Anyways, we got two of them right in front of us. How about that, eh? Well, the reason we got two of them is because this is the old one. And this is the new upgrade. Now the new upgrade, I'll just show you actually. We'll pop it apart quick. This is out of a 4L80. It's a takeout piece. And this is the original one. There we go. Alright, so this is the old style one. You pull this off, and what you're left with, this part, and this guy. But you have to be really careful with. Now this is called a roller type clutch. It's just a one-way clutch. It works. Nothing really wrong with them, but they aren't necessarily the hot ticket for performance. This over here, which we now have to peel apart. Oops, it has a different kind of snapper in, which by the way, the book mentions it's better. So that's good. I like better. Am I any good at pulling it off though? No. That's the thing about better sometimes. Sometimes that's just code for more difficult. Okay. Like that. Gotta be careful pulling this off. Maybe. I don't actually know. Ah, yes. Gotta be careful with this one, otherwise it might go everywhere. The other one can go everywhere too. This. Oh, baby, be careful. It's really easy to make all the balls fall out. This is a sprag type. And it's got a smooth drum. And it works a little bit differently, but it does the same job. So this has notches on it. This has smooth. This goes with this. This goes with this. Supposedly, these are a bit stronger. Now we also have a new roller clutch. This is theoretically just fine. There's nothing really wrong with this. I'm not gonna use it because we have a new one, which I will fetch. Here is our new one. So we're gonna slip him on there. Now I think they have a direction they go. Hold for service. Outer race should turn freely in the clockwise direction, but lock solidly counterclockwise. So we can slip this guy on. It's hard to show people stuff when you're just figuring out how to do it yourself. Lock solidly counterclockwise, rotates clockwise. All right, so we're doing that right. Before we get more confused than my little brain already is, let's get this one out of here. So we're not looking at him anymore. Though I guess we need pieces from him, so hold on. And this is the old one, which there's probably nothing wrong with, as per se. So we'll put him in the package, save him for a rainy day. And this part is not even close to done yet, because we still got to steal all the guts out of that one. So, let's do that. Okay, we need that for sure. We need this for sure. We need, oh yeah, we need all this part. Get over there. There we go. Do need this. Now, we need a compressor. Well, folks, the good news is, if you've been following along for all the other transmission videos, you've already seen me do this. The bad news is, I accidentally had my GoPro in time-lapse mode instead of just normal record mode, so there's no audio. I did catch my mistake before I started reassembly at least. Okie dokie. Now, let's put the big one on first. Yeah, we got 3 brand new ones. I just pulled them out of the bag myself. We'll pop him in for now and see what happens. Alright, that one goes there. This one goes in here. And this one goes over here. With the lip facing up. Okay. All direct drums use the check ball, either the drum or the apply piston. Okay, this one does not have a hole in the apply piston. That's the check ball down here. Smear this up with lots and lots of lube. We are not gonna be shy on this. Extra generous so that we don't wreck our remaining seals. Okay, set that in there, real gentle like. Now we go get our lip install tool. This one is called the Lip Wizard. And you just sort of slip him in and work your way around. There she goes. Okay. We're in. Alright, that part's good. Now this part can go in. Now, we put the springs back on. Except, we're back on the shift kit. Little baggy springs, eh? Put them everywhere. They're all stuck together. Oh, that's annoying. Okay. Now, let's look at an old spring and a new spring. The old spring is taller and less thick. And this will barely compress. And this I can compress with 2 fingers. So I think it's probably stiff. This tool kind of seems like it might be a hospital trip waiting to happen. That'll be an awkward conversation. But you know, gotta do what you gotta do. It's making sound. I hate it. I hate it. Cover your eyes, dog. Tell me again how you lost your finger, Heathen. Well, there was this one time I was eating this junk off Amazon. Snap ring is started. Snap ring is on. Whew! I tell you what, that was frightening, eh, guys? You guys having an okay time, or are you really sick of it? Do you hate it out here? You hate it? The tool lived to fight another day. Oh no, the snap ring is not in all the way. Very carefully, put these back on. I just saw the snap ring try and pop out of its hole. Why did that happen? I must not have had it in all the way. There we go. Yeesh! That was just about the end, Elvis! We just about bought it that time. We're ready for some clutches now. That was scary. Now folks, what I'm supposed to be showing you here is building this clutch pack and installing it into that drum. However, somehow there's a little bit of confusion between me and the camera, and what I ended up doing was filming my dogs moving around and not at all filming any of the building of this clutch pack. So you're about to see it suddenly assembled. But at least you got to watch the dogs.
Hi, Elvis. Hey, buddy. Hey, Elvis. Come here. Come here. Oh, little buddy. Come here. Come here. No, you're not really that kind of guy, are you? Well, folks, I won't lie. I spent about an hour playing with that thing, trying to get the measurements I wanted, and trying to figure out how to measure it. And then I sent about 2 text messages to JH Transmission. He asked me about 3 questions. And in a time frame of less than 10 minutes, it's now bang on, right where we want. Like 55 thou clearance. I tell you, it really pays to have somebody around that sort of knows what they're doing as opposed to always fumbling with the book. Not that the book was bad, but it was a little clear, or rather, a little unclear on how to measure that. Now, I'll show you what I was doing. And that is, I had this in here, I had the snap ring in, and then I was taking my dial indicator, clicking it on, and then just lifting up on both sides at the same time. Then I checked it over here and checked over there. And I wasn't getting what you call consistency, I think. I couldn't figure out a better way to do it. The book just has a picture of the dial indicator, but nothing really there. Now what JH told me to do was take it off, get yourself a bunch of washers of varying thicknesses. Of course, all I had were all the same thicknesses, but they happened to be 55 thou. Put a few of them on there. You see if you can get this snap ring in, right? And if you can get the snap ring in and can't move anything, or if you can't get the snap ring in, it'll tell you. It's kind of a go, no-go situation, so a variety of washers are your friend. And say you've got 70 thou worth of washers and you can't get the snap ring in, well, that means it's less than 70. And if you've got 50 thou of washer in there and you can't get the snap ring in, well, you're between 50 and 70. That's kind of where you know, in the end, I landed at 55, which nicely lined up with what JH wanted to see and lined up with my book wanted to see, and I tell you, that makes me pretty happy. So we're together. We ended up with like 5 clutches and 5 plates that are 90 thou, and then 1 steel on top that's a 78. And we're happy with that. Now we're on to the next thing, finally. First thing we gotta do here is put this guy back in.
He goes in there, like that. And the little thing sits on there like that. And it lives there.
This right there, that'll push on him.
And he'll go and grab.
Now this guy has to go in. But this has to align into all of these. And that, if you're wondering, is a giant pain in the neck. So we're gonna build a little tool quick using our leftover parts from that direct drum and some intermediate clutches or something. And then we're gonna build a little tool. And I'll show you in a second. Alright, now, you might be wondering what I've done here, but it's not an original idea, and you're probably not really wondering if you've done this before.
This is to align all these little clutches up nice. See that? If you mix them up like that, you will have a heck of a time getting this one installed. So you take this thing, and you sort of wiggle and wobble. And you wiggle and wobble some more. And there. Now it's all lined up for you. Now you can center it, and hopefully this will be less of a fight. It actually says right in the book, it does not drop in easily.
But you know, if it was easy, everybody would do it, right?
Oh, I think that's in. I think. I'm not totally positive, but I think it's in.
So that's a bonus. I had to take about 16 tries at it to get it there, but it's in now. Now losing the audio on this part, well, it was a little more disappointing than the rest, but for the most part, I didn't do anything too technical. Hopefully you can follow along and figure it out as I do it. Aside from having the input shaft attached to it, it basically disassembles just like the other ones. There's nothing too complicated anyways.
I did elect to try and measure each one of the discs on this one, just so I'd have an idea where to start. Which I probably should have done on the others too, but I didn't figure that out till now. Now my tool is just as sketchy on this one as it was on the other three, and if I'm honest, you'd probably be better served to build your own than to buy the cheap one off Amazon, because it's already broken, and it feels like it's gonna bend, and the whole decision to use it is just a sketchy one every time. But regardless, it does seem to still work.
Alright, this one was much easier to set up. Mostly because I just used what I had left. And I sort of just set it the same as it was, and it's basically really close. I double checked the JH because it's just a little bit above. It's 030, I think. The book says 10 to 020 is recommended. JH said it'll be fine, so we're set. Now let's talk about this part, which is an extreme duty forward hub clutch kit. Or forward clutch hub kit. Anyways, it's this. It's the replacement for this. It's black, has holes in it, and it says extreme duty. Also comes with a Torrington bearing that it will ride on right here, like this. Or maybe that goes underneath. I can't remember. Anyways, it sits in there. Then this sits on there. That's got a bushing. That goes on top. It's not complicated. What did I say? Let's just put this in here. Yep, like that, and then this goes on like that. Get in there. This goes in there like that. Okay, that one's done, installed, finished. And you know what happens now? It goes into the transmission. That's right. Where's my light? Come over here, you better look too. Now, for the 5 of you that are still watching this disaster show, let's get this lined up, eh? Got lots of clutches there to line up. Let's get them close. It's getting closer, isn't it? Let's see if we can get this guy to go in. See if we can coax him to cooperate, eh? We gotta get that centered like, hey? This one's worse than the other one. Now will you go? Well, the official instructions for this part are wear a leather glove, wiggle, jiggle, and rotate. And hopefully it will go in. It also says this process may take several minutes. I love things that take several minutes. This is painful, just painful. Also makes horrible sounds. That's another one. Definitely not there yet. There's another one. It's just so hard for me to turn it. Oh, there's another one. That might be it. Anybody know how difficult that's supposed to be to turn? It feels awful. Which is not really how I wanted it to be. I'm assembling the transmission is for it to feel awful. How do I know when it's all the way in? That's how you know. It makes the sound. And suddenly it's way easier to roll around. It's in, folks. It's finally in. If you're not interested in building a Turbo 400, man, I really appreciate that you made it this far, because this has been a lot of episodes about something that might not be interesting to most folks, but I sure do appreciate you sticking around to watch it, because, like, you know, somebody's got to do this, and it's me this time on this particular transmission. I'm looking forward to moving on from transmission rebuild soon. Anyways, it's pump time. Now, we've already done an episode about rebuilding this pump, and by rebuilding I mean putting new seals in it. I did one other thing off camera that I kind of just did and forgot about, and that is I swapped this spring out for a yellow one. I had a plain one, a yellow one, and an orange one to choose from. The orange one's pretty racy, and you have to modify the inside of the pump if you're going to do it. At least that's the recommendation I got from JH in my book. So we're not running the orange one because I don't want to modify the inside of my pump right now. As for this, it needs to go into there. Let's find our gaskets. All right, we got 2 fresh sealing rings, which we're going to toss on this pump. Slip it in. Get some assembly goo on there so we don't wreck them. Get it shoved in there and get the goo on it. Oh man, I got it on every finger. All right. Now, we want this guy in here. We have to figure out where he goes. I would say he goes there. And now this is going to sit inverse to how it is. It's going to be like that. We made ourselves a couple of lineup studs, as recommended in the book. That'll keep your gasket in its home. And it'll just help you drop this on there. Now it says a bit of ATF on this outer O-ring, so we'll get a finger full of that. We also know that this C-clip will face there somewhere, because you can access that. All right, here we go. I have a problem that's different than I expected to have. This isn't in all the way. Hold for service, we're figuring it out. Okay, we got our input shaft and clutch assembly seated the rest of the way, which basically, well, I've fought with that for quite a while. I don't remember how much of it I showed you, but essentially you set the whole shaft in there, and then you start spinning on the output shaft and spinning on the input shaft, and you just fight with it for half an hour till it finally drops in the rest of the way. You can line all the clutches up as many times as you want, but I don't know, that didn't help me out anyways. Regardless, I think we're in now because it bottomed out. It sounded like metal. And if you look really closely through that hole, you can sort of almost kind of see the mate. Now you can see through there and there if you've got it in all the way, see? It's tough to like see it, but it is possible. I can't show you, but I promise it's possible. Well, at least it's sort of possible anyways. Not that I know what I'm doing or trying to tell you what to do, but what I did is give it a good inspection here, and then we're gonna stab a couple bolts in there, and then we're gonna check our input end play. We'll check what that's supposed to be again, but anyways, I got my old bolts. Now there's new sealing washers for these, which I didn't even know till I saw it in my book, but those are sealing washers. We're not gonna put the new ones on yet because we have to take this in and out probably 5 more times, but we'll just line these up quick, get at least a couple in there, and that should be enough to check our end play. It's the wrong size. So with 2 bolts fastened down, we've got our metal red plate strung between 2 bolts and secured. And we got our dial indicator. And there's just this hole here. This is actually how it showed to do it in my book. I'm not just making this part up. So that's good. Anyways, you stick that in there and you just up and down and then you watch that. And what I see is, well, I guess I could 0 it, hey? That'd be beneficial. Every time you touch it, it moves. 0, 12 and a half. 0, 12 and a half. 2, no, 0. 12 and a half. Now I need to go figure out if 12 and a half is a good number because I can't remember. I changed my mind. It wasn't seated all the way down. And you push it down a bit extra. Now I've got 16. Now the reason I double checked that is because specification was 15 to 30 thou and 12 was a little tight. So we just, you know, if you don't like the results, just change the rules of the game. Right? We'll see what it measures when we bolt it down tight, I guess. Well, the good news is I also just checked the instructions that came with our extreme duty forward clutch hub, and they said that like 3 thou to 24 thou is acceptable. That makes me feel a lot better about my somewhere between 12 and 16 thou. One more time. 0. No, B0. What's that? Yeah, it's definitely 14. Now that everything's snug and tight. Definitely 14. Yep. I'm sure JH appreciates all the text messages. We'll ask him. Now the beauty of buying all your transmission parts from, say, a guy that knows something like JH is when you got a question, he's willing to answer it. And he took the time to say, not only is 014 okay, here's why 014 is okay. It's because we put that extreme duty forward hub clutch hub? Anyways, because we put that in there, it's got a Torrington bearing now. So you can be way tighter than you were before. So that's pretty cool. And that means we're good. Like lucky, you know. But I'm cool with being lucky and good. That's excellent. Which also, like, we're together. The whole rotating part is together. I'm pretty happy about that. I'm gonna flip it over and double check rear end play just to make sure it's still happy. Not that anything should have changed, but you know, we know how many transmissions I've put together, so I think it's wise to double check things. You know, every time I stand up to talk about something, you decide it's time to sit in the chair. Why are you a chair dog? Not into that, hey? I don't want you to lick my hands ever, Elvis. I hate it when I get licked. Can you shake? Yeah, that's a good boy. Should we celebrate? Should we go for a whack? Now that we did a thing? Let's get weird. Let's go. What are you doing? Are you doing anything good? Did you find anything? What do you see? Huh? What are you doing, buddy? Just checking out the old C30? Or maybe the motorhome, hey? Why do you always walk so slow, Elvis? Is that high speed right there? Is that it? Run, buddy. Show everybody the speed. Go for it. Attack! Go the other direction. No, go that way. Yeah! Good boy. Good attack. Alright, let's flip this over. Oh! Yeah. Yeah, it's getting heavier now, I guess, eh? Okay, well, it's even more than I expected, Frost. It's definitely not a one-handed job anymore. I don't know if this table's quite up to the task anymore. What do you think, buddy? Probably fine, eh? Okay. It'll be better now. The weight's more spread out or whatever. Alright, let's check end play again one more time and go from there. It's still good. Ish. I can't pull quite as hard as I want to with one hand, but we're still there. It's good. Oh, almost. How about it? Camera angle has to change just a little bit here because I need to be working on that and I want to show you that. So sometimes my back is going to be in the way of the camera shot. That's just how it is. We're all gonna be fine with it. Well, sometimes I'll be in the way and you don't get to see what I do, and that's just the way that it is. Guy went for lunch and forgot the heater cranked all the way on. Good thing I had this t-shirt from old Mr. Rich Guido. It's very nice and lightweight. It's very comfortable, fits my fat body very well. Yeah, we're happy about that. Now, what we were doing before you guys, got back is we were spinning this around, see? We set up all our parking shift selector stuff, which is hard to, I couldn't put it in and explain it at the same time, but basically it works now. So we send this round and round and round, and if you wanted to go into park, then this will go there, and now it's in park. See, it doesn't go anywhere. And then, well, the other selections are there later, but we have park, so that's good. Okay, so our next step is an air test to make sure the clutches are doing stuff. It says you're supposed to get a positive clunk when air is applied, and that there shouldn't be too much leakage. Excessive is the word they use. I have no idea how much excessive is, but I'm going for the clunk. The reality is, I have this tip for my blowgun and this tip for my blowgun, and neither of them seal up worth a hill of beans. But you stick it in this hole. I have no idea if you can hear it. I can hear the clunk. You stick it in this hole and plug that hole. Yep. Stick it in that hole and plug that hole. Yep. And then there's this hole, which is really hard to get into. And I can hear the clutches do their thing. I have no idea if it's excessive leakage because there's so much leakage around my nozzle, but at least I know the clutches are moving. So that's probably good enough, hey Elvis? Right, buddy? We're on to the next part, which is really small. This is a front band servo piston, I think. Anyways, it's got all these pieces. It's got a little horseshoe clip there. That has to stay there when you put it in. So put it there. Try and make sure that it stays there. First of all, you got to put it in the other way because that was wrong. Yeah, drop the horseshoe clip. That's good. Put it in that way. There we go. Now put this on. And now, there we go. Oh, yeah, drop it again. That's cool. When in doubt, cover it with trans gel. Then it will stay. That's what I think. I don't know if that's right, but that's what I think. We also have a new iron sealing ring to replace the new one that was on there. Get a little lube on him too. Okay, in we go, in we go, in we go. Well, we're gonna try and go in anyways. There we go. Now, very carefully with the old ring. Why does it look so crooked? Wait, is that the wrong place? No, that's right. Did I miss? What happened? Why is it going in so funny? Well, it is in the picture too. Now push on this and see if a band does something. Oh, that felt funny. How can I tell if this is working? I think something's happening. I don't know. Now we're here. We have these pieces. This is a accumulator and another servo. I think it's called a low band servo. Maybe. Let me check. Yep. Low band apply servo, and then an accumulator for doing something. They go together. But it takes all of my concentration to get them there. Easy. This lower seal is just not that nice of a thing, for honest. There. That's, now it's in. There's two springs. I don't know why it's important there's two springs, but the book says, note the inner spring. So, noted. We got a new gasket on there. This thing is, it's gonna live right in here. It's gonna get a cup over it and do some stuff. This piece goes over it one way or another. Now initially I thought this could fit any which way, but it does not fit any which way. It fits one way. And it wasn't the way I had it. Like that? I think so. Everybody pause. Pull it back apart. Good thing I didn't get the bolts in. I don't want this spring. I want the new spring. That's part of our shift kit. Alright. Now you just want to try and tighten these up real even like. There is spring tension on it, you know. That was a horrible sound. Back off it comes. Yeah, it looks like I pulled the thread out. Good. You'll notice I've already changed one of these bolts out for a longer one. And I'm not even going to take credit for that one. That one was previously done. This one was mine though. I wrecked that one. No question there. I pulled those threads. This one somebody else did. Well, I don't see anything wrong. Ugh. Oh man, that feels awful going in. Oh yeah, that one's toast. That one's toast too. Okay. Hold. It's just got so much spring pressure with so little thread engagement. Like That's not fair. I don't want to take full credit for these. I think they were already wrecked. Like, I might be a dummy. But I don't generally... Like, tightening like this is not usually the way that you wreck threads. I don't know about this. I hate it. They are grabbing and they are pulling it in, but boy do I hate that. On the plus side, of all the bolts it could be, these are the two you could punch through and put nuts on the other side, which is what I'd do if this all went really wrong. It'd look a little dumb, and you'd have to figure out a way to seal the top, but it would work. Like if I stripped one now, I would accept that. Okay, we've readjusted here. We've put it on some very secure styrofoam, laid it on its back, fastened it down with a transmission securement device, which is definitely not a dog leash. Now, what we're ready to do is put some check balls in. Now, I've marked all mine. If you're using the same transmission kit, you'll have 5 instead of 6. There's one there, one there, one there, one there, one there. Where did I count there? 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 5. That's where the 6th one goes if you're interested, where it's all beat up inside of there. So I'm kind of glad I'm not putting that one back in. Now it doesn't mention anything about putting assembly lube on these, but that's what I did. To each his own, I think. Oh no, there's probably just a right or wrong way. I put goo on it because I don't want the balls to fall out. One goes in here, one goes in here, one goes in there, one goes in there, one goes in there. All right, we'll wipe all that off. We now have a new case gasket and our new separator plate, the triple plate, which confused me so badly. It goes on. Cover all little holes. Now it's also in the instructions. There's some holes on here that specifically have to be on the case side, and it says to double check they're there. I already did that, but you know, if that's a thing, you better do that too. Okay, now this guy's go on here. Now it says VB right there, see? For valve body. Means it goes on the valve body side, right? Lay this over. Let's get a valve body. We have a valve body in our hands now. Oh, we gotta put these in too. They're important. How do they go again? Hang on, everybody hold. All right, now I think we're more ready. First of all, we didn't put this governor filter in. This is the old one. It goes right here. Right, I don't know if you can see right there. It goes right there. Yep, that's important. Secondly, we didn't have our tubes in. Now we do. And thirdly, we didn't have this thing lined up. It's supposed to just go there somehow. And the tubes have to stay in and go into the right home. No, this has to stay exactly where it's supposed to be. You need to get your fingers out of there. That has to go in there. Well, I've messed that up. Okay. Here. And then this guy. Let's see if we can slip bolts down. I think there is actually a desirable order of operations here. Mostly I just want to see if I can get some started. That's it, folks. It's finally over. That's it. There's no more Turbo 400 building episodes coming out anytime soon. Now it is complete, aside from, I'm actually gonna change this out. That's your shift solenoid. It's just an original one. I'll swap it out for a new one just because. We put that in off camera because the camera died. We bolted this down and torqued it down. And then there's a governor. Now the governor we're leaving out because I don't know if I want to modify it before I put it in or wait till after. I got some questions about that, but I just haven't decided, essentially, if I want it to shift late automatically or if I don't care because we'll shift it with a shifter. But anyways, we might just put it in as is and see what it does because I don't know yet. But as for that, we're done. Meanwhile, that's it, folks. We're done the transmission. It's been a ride. A lot longer of a ride than I planned on, if we're honest. I want to thank you guys for watching and subscribing, and like if you stuck it out watching transmission videos when you're not interested in transmissions, I really appreciate you guys. Like that was a lot of commitment. If you're watching along to actually learn something, well, hopefully you found something useful along the way. Other than that, we'll see you next week with something that isn't a transmission rebuild. We'll see y'all later. Bye. It's time to put some medium in the... My words aren't working. This is a roller clutch. Nope, this is a sprag. Come on, Heathen. If you sort of lay it flat and gently push each one of these in, they will go in the thing. Wow, that was pretty technical terms there, huh? The thing will go into the thing if you push on the thing.